Hi, I'm Linda Hendrickson here in my studio in Portland, Oregon, and I'm working on a ply-split basket. The technique that I'm using is called ply-split braiding. This is a technique usually used to make flat objects, and contemporary fiber artists are just now discovering how wonderful it is to make three-dimensional pieces. Now, I've designed a very simple basket, which I call a garlic basket. And I'm going to lead you step by step so that you can make a basket like this yourself. Before we get started making a basket, I want to tell you just a little bit about the tradition of ply-split braiding. This is a technique from the desert between India and Pakistan. It's done entirely by men who take black and white goat hair and they spin it into yarn, and then they ply the yarn into cords and then split the cords to make these beautiful objects. And you can see from these two camel girths that they can make gorgeous geometric designs. And with another structure, they can also make pictorial designs. Now, Peter Collingwood made several trips to India over a period of 10 years, and in 1998 published his book, The Techniques of Ply-Split Braiding. This is the ultimate resource for information on the traditional techniques. And I'd also like to invite you to visit my website, lindahendrickson.com, where you can find a lot of information about the traditional pieces as well as contemporary work, and a lot of links to other sites. The printed instructions include directions for 3 sizes of baskets. I'm going to show you how to make the medium-sized basket, which you can finish in about 6 hours. I'm going to refer often to the instructions, and you can just follow along with me. Before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about the basket and how it's made. We'll start out in the middle of the base with 4 cords. For the first 2 rounds, we'll be adding the body cords and the handle cords to make the first 2 rounds. And then after that, we will be doing basically concentric squares around to build this base. Some of the time, you're going to be splitting the existing cords that are in the base and pulling another cord through. And sometimes you'll be splitting the new cord that you're adding and adding it to the existing cord. So there's 2 different ways that we'll be adding the cords to the base. Then once we have this square finished, we'll start on the sides. And the way I've designed this is to be very open. So we're leaving a lot of twists between the splittings here to make this open. And then once we finish the sides, we will add this finishing cord, a very long cord that actually circles the basket 4 times. So you'll be splitting this new cord and pulling the cords of the sides through that all the way around 4 times. Then we'll braid the handle, and then one of the handle cords is actually longer than the other 3. And that final cord is going to be wrapped around to join the handle. For ply-split braiding, you need plied cords and something to split the cords with. Now, I use a lot of different kinds of materials to make my cords. I usually make them myself. I've used ribbon, a fishing line, dental floss, torn fabric strips, lots of different materials. For this basket, we're going to use Danish cord. And this is a 2-pound roll of Danish cord. What I like about this particular material is that it is readily available. You can buy it in these rolls. It's fairly inexpensive. If you just go to any search engine and type in Danish cord, you'll be able to find it. It's at basketry supply sources, and this is material that's typically used for weaving chair seats. There are different tools that can be used for ply splitting depending on the type of cord that you're using. This is a latch hook, which is available at craft and fabric stores. This is a good tool if you have small diameter cords or if the cords are fairly soft. Because we're using the Danish cord, we're going to use a gripfid. Now first I'm going to show you the fact that the Danish cord is a 3-ply. So let me just untwist it here so you can see the 3 plies. And when you have an odd number of plies, you have the option of splitting so that you have 2 plies on the top, or you can split the cords, this 3-ply cord, so that you have just 1 ply on the top of your tool. Okay, so now what we need to do is get all of our supplies together. So we're going to need some scissors. You want to have your gripfid and your instruction sheet handy, and a tape measure, and your Danish cord. Now you need to have 20 of the body cords. You need 4 cords for the handle, and one of them is 12 inches longer than the other 3. And then you need the very long finishing cord. So let's cut some cords and we'll be ready to go. Well, I finished cutting my cords and I've bundled them into groups. Here I've got my 20 body cords, and I find it very helpful to actually tie them up to keep them orderly. So here's the body cords, then here are the 4 handle cords, and remember you've got 1 cord that is longer than the other 3, and then this is a little roll that I've just made of the long finishing cord. So here I have my 2 body cords and my 2 handle cords. I'm going to take the body cord and a handle cord to work with first. Put these 2 out of the way. So the first step is to take a body cord, fold it in half, find the center, and slightly untwist it and split it. Now you're always going to be splitting so that you have 2 plies on the top of your tool. Take your handle cord, pull it through, and center it. Now I'm going to rotate the cords counterclockwise so that now the handle length cord is horizontal. And I'm going to split the handle length cord directly to the left of the body length cord and pull the second body length cord through. And I want to center this. So that I have the 2 body length cords centered and parallel. Now I'm going to again rotate counterclockwise. And split this body cord again directly to the left. So this is a handle length cord, and then we're going to put in the second handle length cord and center it. And now, again, rotate. Split. And pull the first cord through. In round 2, I'm going to start with a handle length cord. This is one that is the same length as the ones that are already there. And I am centering it with the other two, and then I'm going to actually split this new cord and pull the existing body cord that's on the right through. Then again, I split the handle cord in the very next available place that I can split it, and pull the second body cord through. Now, rotate. Now we have two body cords, and we're going to add another one. So the same thing, we'll center this new cord up with the other ones, and where it crosses right here, you're going to split the new cord that you're adding and pull the cord through. Again, split in the next available opening and pull a cord through. And one more time. Split and pull a cord through. And then push these up. Now, rotate again. Now I'm going to add the final handle cord. So rather than centering this one, I'm going to even up the four ends on the left-hand side. And then where it's crossing, I'm going to split it. So split, pull a cord through, split, pull through, and split, and pull through. Then rotate. Now the last cord of this round is a body length cord, so I'll center that. And pull all four of these through. Push these up. That is the end of round 2. In round 3, you are going to be splitting the existing cords and pulling other cords through all the way around. And there are 2 ways that you can split the cords. One is like this, where you're leaving minimum twist. So if you were to have split here, that's where this cord is actually coming through, so that's no twist. And minimum twist is just going down 1 ply. So splitting right here. And the other possibility would be where you are splitting a cord that is emerging from another cord. And in that case, you want to split it just close to where it's coming out. So this one, I'll split where it's coming out. This one I'm going to split, leaving the minimum amount of twist. Okay, now I push my gripfid through and I'm going to grab a body cord from over here. Place the cord into the gripfid and pull through. Now you just want to center this cord in the basket. Now we'll rotate this. And do the same thing on all four sides. So we're just going to split. Now on this side now we have 5 cords to split, because we're also splitting that cord that was just added. Pull this through and center it, and rotate. On this side you also have 5 cords to split. You see how important it is to untwist the cord slightly so that you can insert your gripfid into the plies. Okay, and then pull this cord through and center it. And rotate. And on the last side, now you have 6 cords to split. And you pull your last cord through and center that. Okay, you're finished now with round 3. For round 4, we're going to be splitting the new cords and pulling an existing cord through. So I'm taking a new cord, and first I need to center it with the other body cords. And then where it crosses, right here, where it crosses this cord on the right, that is where the first splitting will be. So I pull a new cord through. And now just continue all the way across, splitting, leaving minimum twist, and pulling each one of these cords through. Be careful when you pull on the existing cords that you don't accidentally pull them out of position. Some of them are capable of moving. So now we're going to push this up tight and rotate. Now you're ready to do the second side of round 4, same way. So center the cord and start splitting where it crosses the cord, the existing cords on the right. And for the medium-sized basket that we're making, you need to complete 2 additional rounds exactly the same as the last 2. So in round 5, you'll be splitting the existing cords and pulling new cords through. And in round 6, you're going to be splitting new cords and pulling the existing cords through. I want you to look at each pair of cords in the corner, and you'll see that there's a splitting in each corner. And the way I want to see each one of these splittings is like this one, where this cord is going through this one. Okay, now I'm going to rotate this around, and you'll see this pair is split the opposite way. So I'm just going to take this out and resplit it. And this is going to just make it so that there's consistent splittings of each pair at the corners. And this will actually just make it a little bit easier for you to do all of the splittings. All right, so now the corners are already split in pairs, and now you're going to start and create pairs. So you'll split one, pull one through. Go to the next 2 cords, split one, pull one through. So the cords that are already in pairs at the corners now, as you go around, you'll be skipping them. And otherwise, you'll just take all of the cords and split them into pairs like this. Okay, so here's the corner. We'll skip that and we'll just rotate and start working on this side. Now you've finished the first row of the sides. And the structure that we are using right now is called plain oblique twining. And in order to do that, we have to turn it over to do the next row. And in order to make this a nice open side, we're going to leave 5 twists between the splittings. So you can just start here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this, at this ply, is where you want to insert your tool. And you're going to continue working with 2 plies on the top. So now you, again, just pull one through and go to the next one and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. And you'll continue the same way all the way around. All right, so that finishes the second round of the sides. And you might have noticed that I started in the middle. It doesn't actually matter at all where you start. You just have to pick a place to start and then go all the way around to finish where you started. So after you finish this round, then again, you will turn it over and start working on this side. There are actually 11 rounds in the medium-sized basket. You don't really need to count, though. You just need to keep working, turning over after every row until the handle cords are next to each other, and then we'll be ready to start the finishing. So you can see that I'm counting, starting with where this is coming through, and starting with this first ply. And going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do that again. So I'm starting counting where this cord comes through and then counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't really have to count if you don't want to, but I find it satisfying to do it. Also, because of the fact that there's so much twist left between the splittings, the piece can stay pretty flat while you're working on it. Now eventually you do need to start working on it in a curved shape. So I'm just going to fold it over like that, and that in effect turns it over for the next row. We'll just start again. So now I'm finished going up the sides, and the way you can be sure of that is to check your handle cords, and you see I have this cross right here and these other two cords. Those are all my long handle cords. And on the other side then, same thing. Okay. So now we're ready to add the finishing cord. So this is how the basket looks now when you finished going up the sides. And I just wanted to compare with the finished one so you can see that when you put on this finishing cord, it really pulls it in, and then what's going to happen after you've put the cord on is you'll take each one of these cords and bring it actually down through the finishing cord to create this little fringe. And also these two ends right here with the decorative knots are the beginning and end of the finishing cord. So you want to start that cord right here by pulling one of these two cords that's in the middle between the handles. So I'll show you how to start the finishing cord. I have my basket laid out now so that the handle cords are on the side. And I'm going to take the finishing cord and my tape measure and measure 12 inches from the end. And that's where I'm going to start splitting. So I'll open up this cord. So you want to have the short end going off to the right. And now I'm just going to start pulling these cords of the basket one at a time through the finishing cord. Just leaving minimum twist and taking the cords from the basket in order. And we'll just go all the way around the basket. Yeah, finishing the first round of the rim here. Now I'm just finishing up the first row, and here you want to be sure that this is the finishing cord. You don't want to pull that into the rim. You want to leave that out. And just keep going. I'm finishing up the last round, so that's 4 complete rounds of the finishing cord. Now right here with this cord is where the finishing cord started. So I want to go to this one next to it, and that will be the last cord that I pull through the finishing cord. I'm going to turn it around. Let's see. So I'm going to split the finishing cord here and then go up like this. and pull this end right down through. So this cord here is actually going through 4 cords. Okay, and that's the way it should look when it's finished. So before you start pulling the cords down, you need to pull them all up tight. And you probably would be best off if you also pulled each one tight as you worked on it individually. Now we're going to start pulling these cords through the finishing cord. This is the first one I'm going to pull through, this one here. So I'm going to actually put my gripfid up through in the same place where this cord came through. And I want to be sure I pull that up tight. Pull it down tight. Okay, and I'll go to the next one. Make sure you're pulling it up tight. So this cord is now going to come down through here. So you're going to split in the same place. Same place that this cord went through already, and you're going to pull this cord down through. I have the 4 cords that we're going to use to braid the handle here, and the structure that we're going to use is called SCOT, which is an acronym for single course oblique twining. And the fell for this SCOT braid is at an angle like this. So when you first do the splitting, you want to split not absolutely as close as you can on this side. You want to just leave a little bit of space here and just go at a slight angle. You split 3 cords and pull 1 through. So those first cords that I split were emerging from other cords. The next step in SCOT is to take the cord that was just pulled through, that becomes the first cord that you split. So this is split close to where it's emerging. And then in the next 2, you're going to be leaving the minimum amount of twist, always having 2 plies on the top of your gripfid. So again, it's split 3 and pull 1 through. Split 3. Pull 1 through. And just pull them up nice and tight after each splitting. All right, now I've finished braiding the two sides, and I have the one cord that's longer than the others here on the right. So now I'm going to join the two by overlapping them so that the one with the longer one is on top. You take this long wrapping cord and you go around 4 times, and you're going to be heading over to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to take the gripfid and just stick it in there. It makes it, I've discovered it makes it easier to pull this end down. I'm pulling the end through. And this is wrapped fairly loosely at this point. So now what you have to do is to start tightening this wrap, because you want it very tight. So you see, as I kind of go like that and pull and tighten and pull. And get it really tight. Okay. You might have to do a little fiddling here to pull these, all these ends up into the right position. Then I'm going to trim this one off. And now we will just unply all of these. So that's a simple operation of just untwisting and pulling the plies apart. After they're all unplied, then you can decide how long you want them to be and trim them off. Now I'm going to make the knots, the decorative knots on the ends of these two cords. And I've figured out a little way to use the gripfid to help me with that. So I'm going to just lay the gripfid across like this, pretty close to this end here, where it's coming out of the rim. And I'm going to wrap 4 times around both the gripfid and the cord. And now place this end into the channel of the gripfid. And really stick it down in there and pull. Okay, now you can kind of move this around a little bit. And you pull on both ends of it and pull it really tight. And you can kind of squeeze it and pull it. squeeze it and pull it. And there you have it. You can do the other one the same way. It's nice to end up with them being at slightly different places. Then you can just take the scissors, once they're really tight, and just trim them right at the base. So I think the next thing to do is to go ahead and trim these off all the way around to the length of the shortest one. After you finish trimming, then go all the way around unplying all the ends. I hope you've enjoyed making the basket, and I hope you'll also explore ply-split braiding and all the wonderful possibilities that it has to offer. I've got some garlic here I'm going to put in my basket, and I hope you'll go put some garlic in your basket.